Offset facing 12 years in prison.
What up, Offset?
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. It appears as though Offset, husband of Cardi B and singer of the rap group Migos, is in some serious trouble with the law, to the extent that there are reports that he could be facing up to 12 years in jail. But what the heck happened? Well, we'll break it down for you. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to King Trending. Number 4. The timeline to charges.
I guess that other case was so weak, they wanted to put something on me. And so they charged me with a riot in the penal facility.
Interestingly enough, this situation began not with a recent charge, but rather with one that happened last year. In July 2018, not long after his daughter Culture was born, Offset was pulled over by the police in Atlanta. When it was because of him having illegally tinted windows. This gave the police the right to search the car. And when they did, they found not only an illegal substance, but also a firearm. He was then arrested and taken to jail and charged with 2 felonies, including illegal possession of a firearm and having a firearm while doing another crime. Very serious charges, but he got out of jail obviously and pleaded not guilty to the offenses. And while it has taken some time to get around to his case, reports are now spreading that the judge who will be now presiding over the case might throw the book at him, which could result in Offset being in prison for the next 12 years. Focusing on the felony weapon possession charge, the simple scenario is that if Offset is indeed convicted a felon, and if he did receive, transport, or possess a weapon, and if this is his first time doing so as a convicted felon, he could face a 1 to 10 year sentence that may or may not include prison time. The judge can impose a fine up to $100,000. Criminal defense attorney Alan J. Levine told HollywoodLife.com. The 2 other charges of illegally changing lanes as well as a possession of an illegal substance also carries a 1 year sentence and $1,000 each, as the rapper prepared to appear in court in May. This isn't a random sentencing though. It's one that's built upon Offset's past misdeeds. In 2013, after being put on probation for theft and burglary, Offset broke his probation and thus was put into jail.
There was some other thing behind the scene, but you know, it's all good. But yeah, my bond was denied. They wouldn't give me no bond. 8 months.
Then in 2015, all of the Migos were arrested for various crimes. Offset was charged with the possession of an unspecified Schedule II narcotic, possession of an illegal substance, possession of a firearm in a school safety zone, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. This led to Offset spending 8 months trying to get out of his situation, which led to a plea deal and 5 years of probation, which he's technically still in. So, because of these factors, which are proof that Offset doesn't listen to the letter of the law or the rules that are upon him, it could be believable that he's going to have to pay for his latest crime, and pay it with a very heavy price. Still, Offset's lawyers believe that he won't be given jail time at all. Jail is not imminent, he continued. Even if he were sentenced for the felony gun possession, the judge has the discretion to probate or suspend Offset's sentence. Is this possible? Absolutely. There are technically many ways for Offset to get out of this predicament that he finds himself in. The only real question is how likely any of these actually are, and whether any of them will truly end up with no jail time for Offset. A court of law is meant to be a place of solid judgment, but with the way the law works, there are outs that can be done without wires being crossed, such as a plea deal, but whether even a plea deal will get Offset out of prison for all 12 years, that indeed is quite the question. But you can bet the people working with Offset are going to try their hardest to keep him out of there. All should be revealed as soon as his May court date looms even closer. Number 3. The situation with Cardi B.
Police on Monday as part of an investigation into an assault complaint stemming from an incident on August 29th.
One of the biggest ironies of the situation going on with Offset right now is that he's not the only one facing jail time. His wife Cardi B is actually facing a somewhat serious jail time charge for her own. Granted, it's not as bad as him and doesn't really involve a firearm, but if it does get put against her, they could both be in jail at the same time, which would cause all kinds of problems, as I'll reveal later. Now, it may be that some of you might not actually know about what went down with Cardi B and her entourage that landed her in this present place in regards to her possibly going to jail, so allow me to give you a recap of the entire event. This whole thing happened well over 6 months ago, and for whatever reason, Cardi B got into an argument with a female bartender. The speculation as to how or why varies depending on who you talk to, and as you might expect with someone like Cardi B, things apparently escalated very quickly, to the extent that the bartender was hurt, chairs, bottles, and even pipes were thrown around, and chaos basically filled up the entire place. So yeah, basically a bar fight in a club. What's worse, it was said that after the altercation, Cardi and her entourage fled the scene, likely trying to avoid getting arrested, or possibly just trying to stay safe, but soon after, the bartender identified Cardi B, which if you think about it, if you know who Cardi B is on a fan level, you'll be able to ID her. Now at first, nothing was done to Cardi B in terms of arrest or charges or anything like that, but that soon changed when she was given a summons to come to the police station for being questioned. She happily complied, but after that, something must have gone wrong because she was charged with a misdemeanor reckless endangerment and assault, which for the record are actually some pretty significant crimes, and something that Cardi B won't want on her record for a whole host of reasons. After the charge, Cardi B didn't have anything to say, but her lawyer did say this: "We are aware of no evidence that she caused anybody any harm from that night," her lawyer Jeff Kern told reporters. "We expect the matter to be resolved expeditiously." As you can see, that didn't happen, and the case has been going on ever since, which leads us to an event that happened quite recently. When you fast forward to the 19th of April, Cardi B was brought back into court for a 3-minute appearance. Wouldn't it be great if all court dates were that quick? I'm just saying. In which she rejected the plea deal for the event. Yep, she refused to take a plea deal. That sounds like Cardi B. According to reports, if she agreed to plead guilty to the event, she would be given reduced charges and guaranteed no jail time. This would be appealing the most, but apparently Cardi B didn't feel that she needed that on her record, or felt that she could win the case, because she went into the court and rejected the plea deal. So now her next court appearance is May 31st. Despite the court short time, there were fans waiting for her outside of the courtroom doors, proving that even in her court attire, Cardi B is still one of the most popular rappers around, which makes sense given her massive popularity in the world. So what might be going through your mind is, where does that leave Cardi B? Well, because she rejected the plea deal, the trial will go on as scheduled, which means that barring something happening, it'd have to go to the jury verdict. If that is the case, and Cardi B is found guilty of said crimes, she could actually be facing a year in jail, which again isn't as bad as the 12 years that her husband is now facing, but it's still a rather significant amount of time. And for both of them, time isn't something you just get back. And also for both of them, time isn't something you want to give up right now. Number 2, if they go to jail.
That definitely needs to be added to the list from now on is loyal, because she has committed to stand by her man no matter what.
So let's be real here. Both Offset and Cardi B are facing serious jail time, from 1 to 12 years depending on who you're focusing on. Again, it's not confirmed if either of them will actually serve jail time, but the possibility of it is most certainly there. And when it comes to things like this, you might need to be prepared for the worst. Rappers have gone to jail in the past, and both of them have proof lined up against them that they did these crimes. So again, it could happen, which would be a bad thing for multiple reasons. The first of which is because they could possibly be in jail at the same time. They wouldn't be able to see each other for at least a year. When Cardi B gets out of jail, of course. The best they'd be able to do is write to each other, which would be rather an odd state of affairs given that they'd be writing from jail to another jail. That kind of stress and separation isn't really good for a marriage, and yet they only have themselves to blame, which brings me to Culture, their daughter. They're not even 1-year-old daughter. If both of them are in prison, both of them won't be able to look after her, which means that they have to go and give her to someone who would be trustworthy, or pay someone to take care of her until Cardi B gets out of jail. That raises all sorts of questions in terms of who's, the hows, the whys, and so on and so forth. It's not really an ideal situation, and that alone will cause even more stress for them in prison more than anything else, as they know the other will be able to handle themselves in prison. But what is gonna go on with their daughter that they can't even see, hear, or be with? That's another story. Then of course there's the situation with their careers. If they both get the sentence that they're possibly expected to get, that would mean that Cardi B would be out of the rap game for a year, and Offset would be out of the game for over a decade. On the Cardi B side of things, that's a pretty long time, especially when she would be going to jail during one of the biggest high points in her career. She just won a Grammy for Best Rap Album as the 2019 show, and many are expecting her to do even bigger things this year. This could be derailing to that hope. Even if she had certain songs or even an album nearly ready to go, if she goes to jail, that would mean many music videos, collaborations, and more would either be delayed or even scrapped until she gets out. And in the rap game, a year is a lot of time for someone to come in and then shine just as brightly as Cardi B did. After all, that's what she did not so long ago. As for Offset, his situation is a bit more perilous in terms of his rap career, because if he goes to jail for 12 years, he's essentially going to be out of the rap game for good. Because while a year is a long time, 12 years is an eternity for a music person. Sure, some people have tried to make comebacks after that amount of time, including Lil' Kim, who's about to release her first album in 14 years, but that's a bit different. Lil' Kim was contractually obligated to not make music. Offset is in prison. Plus, Offset's biggest claim to fame wasn't his solo music per se, it was being with the Migos, and then being married to Cardi B. With him being in jail for 12 years, Migos will either be disbanded or the other two members will just carry on without him. Either way, it means he'll be out of the game by the time he's back, because who knows if rap will even be around 12 years from now, or if it does stay around, whether Offset will have a place in it due to his time behind bars. Number 1. What happens now?
Talk that he been talking about in his interviews, no, but they sure posted when he had drama with his baby mom.
What happens now then? We wait? That's all we can do, to be honest. Both of them have May court appearances that will possibly determine their fate, or it'll slowly get strung along throughout 2019 until a verdict or verdicts are reached, or plea deals are agreed upon. It's impossible to know which of the two will get jail time, or if either of them will walk on the charges. There's a lot of factors that are going into something like this, so time will be one of the biggest factors for for something like this. So if you're a fan of either, you best be hoping for a good resolution. And so there you have it, the situation with Offset and how it connects with his wife Cardi B, and really what it means for Migos and so much more. So do you think that Offset will get the 12-year prison sentence like some think, or do you think he'll walk off free? What do you think of his future with these charges hanging over him? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.